Welcome back to Transfers Talk Tennessee Sports. I'm Zaida Puni.
And I'm Katie Mack. There has been a lot going on Rocky Top on the sports front and really just across the country as well. But the biggest news of today is the fact that Zaida is back. Girl, where you been at?
Man, softball season has officially come.
Let's go.
We're a month in now, so a lot of softball has been played.
Yeah.
We've actually, I think we're almost to 40 games already.
Yeah.
In like 2 months.
So as of yesterday, you guys are 8-1 in SEC play.
Yes.
Which was kind of a bummer because we talked on Saturday and you were hoping to be 9-0.
I know.
But you might have jinxed it a little bit.
I think I jinxed it by texting you guys saying I expect to be 9-0 after this weekend, but
yeah.
I mean, stuff happens.
Yeah.
But it was, I wouldn't necessarily say that we needed that loss.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it sucks, but I just honestly believe that we beat ourselves that game because we just, obviously, like, fatigue has been a part of it because this is, 2 weeks on the road playing SEC games. So it's, like, kind of hard when you're on the road playing an SEC game, just like how it is with other sports. But,
yeah.
I mean, it is what it is. We'll figure it out. And it's just we get to learn from our mistakes and work on it this week.
Yeah, and the reason I was saying we haven't seen Zaida in a while is because they normally have these Saturday, Sunday, Monday series, and so our show is always on Monday, and so we're never seeing Zaida. She's like, oh, I'm out of town. I'm not going to be there today. So she's been real busy, especially you've been playing well, too. Yeah. Talk to us a little bit about that 3-run bomb you hit against the third game against South Carolina.
Yeah, that home run is pretty funny. Mind you, that ball was like literally over my head, low key.
Really?
Just a little bit. It was like pretty up at my eyes.
It looked a little high based off of the way you swung at it. Your elbows were kind of in.
But before that at bat, like 3 of us have we were kind of like struggling that weekend. Yeah. Like to even get a hit, but our hitting coach and then the 3 of us, literally, before we all went out that inning, we prayed. We literally prayed.
That's
like
awesome.
Held each other in a circle and then prayed about it.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't know, I just hit a home run. But
was that your first one of the season?
No. Okay. I was I think I have 8 now.
Oh my gosh, look at you.
I know, but it was more so we were just hitting to the players or miss hitting balls, but the home run felt good.
Yeah. That's awesome. It was really, really fun to watch. I mean, I bet it looks like your teammates were really, really excited about it too, especially in the dugout after.
Yeah, it was mainly because we were in run rule territory, so we didn't even have to play the 7th inning. We just needed to go out and get 3 outs and just hold them. So, but if they had scored 1, we would have had to play the 7th inning. But I just think it's like super important for our team to, if we're ahead and we're able to keep getting runs, and it just gives time for our pitchers to just take innings off of their shoulders.
Totally.
Because I don't know, just they're pitching a lot. So
yeah, absolutely.
Offense has to do the best they can to just get innings off of their shoulders.
Totally. And I think about baseball and softball in particular, it's such a momentum sport that if you're not hitting, nobody's hitting, you know. And then if a bunch of people are hitting, then a bunch of people are hitting, and y'all are really, really into it. I think it's really, really funny. I was watching one of my brother's games a couple weeks ago, and there was a first game in the series where they lost 20-2, and then the second game they won 14-6. It's such a momentum thing that you just got to get in your head oh my gosh, we're in this, we're gonna start hitting, and then when you start hitting, it's just
and it. I think the scariest thing about our team right now is that we're not, all of our hits aren't all coming together. It's it's all spread out. Some people are doing good, some aren't. So I just think once the whole lineup is just passing the bat, we're going to be probably one of the scariest offense in the SECs or even in the country. So I just think once our team finally gets that connection and just stringing everything together, will be probably unstoppable.
Totally. And it's really early on in the season anyway. I mean, it's only April 1st, and then the SEC softball tournament is in May?
End of May.
End of May. Yeah. So you guys have time to get it all together, and once it clicks, I mean, y'all will be in a really
I
good
just
spot.
think it's crazy that it's literally 2 more months left of season. Because February and March just went by fast.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So Easter Sunday was yesterday as well. And I saw this video on the Lady Ball softball account, and I thought this was the funniest thing ever. So they did an Easter egg hunt. Was it yesterday?
Yep.
Yesterday while they were
yesterday.
While they were on the road. And let's check this out.
No, you're good. I got the golden egg, you losers!
Yours on? Already got some eggs. I'm winning.
Congrats. Redeem for free dessert at the next sit-down restaurant. Team meal. One person only. Since I'm not eating dessert, I'm going to pick one person after the game today. MVP of the game who has a good process during their at-bats, during pitching, on defense, whatever their process was. And if it was good, I'm going to give it to them.
And just re-hide the empty eggs. Are people gonna be sad?
Nice. I won.
I won the golden egg. I found the golden egg.
So what was in the golden egg?
So we asked like what was in there before we started to go find the eggs, and they wouldn't tell us. But I honestly thought it was just gonna be like money.
Yeah.
It's like that every golden egg has money in there, but this time it was a piece of paper, and it said free dessert at the next team meal that we have, like at a restaurant. Because obviously when we go to restaurants on the weekend, we were not getting sweets or anything because we're playing.
Right.
So that was the award. But I'm not eating dessert lately.
Yeah.
I'm just like bettering my eating habits. But
Period.
I think I said in the end of the video that I was going to give it to one of my teammates who have like a good process during their at-bats or on defense or during pitching, because we're so big on, we're a process-based team and not like a results-based team.
That's awesome.
So that's why I was like, somebody's process has to be really good. If they talk about it and they do exactly what they talked about, then I'll just give it to them.
That's awesome.
So I haven't decided who I'm going to give it to because there's a couple of people who had really good processes, but
yeah,
I'll figure it out.
Yeah. I think it's so funny watching videos like that because athletes are so competitive anyway, and like you can see it like on the field when they're playing or on the court or whatever, but when they're doing like normal mundane things like an Easter egg hunt, like y'all look so into it, like the girls holding their shirts like filled with eggs.
I don't even know if anybody got anything for having the most eggs, finding the most eggs.
It's just competitiveness.
But it's just,
yeah.
They're going to figure out who has the most, and they're going to say, I had more than you did. So, yeah.
Crazy. Competitiveness. So where are y'all headed this week?
We are actually playing Georgia this weekend at home. So it's going to be a fun weekend, yeah.
I hate Georgia. I'm excited to see y'all.
I know.
Georgia.
It's going to be a good series. I mean, they're a good team.
Yeah.
So.
That's awesome.
May the best team win.
Yeah, absolutely. So shifting over to men's basketball, a little bit of a sad day yesterday. I mean, it was a little bittersweet because the men's basketball team has had a really, really good season.
Yeah.
They won the SEC regular season, which was big. They lost to Mississippi State in the second or third round of the SEC basketball tournament, so that was a bummer. But they made it to the Elite Eight for the first time in 14 years.
Yeah.
So
I guess that just goes to Rick Barnes and how he's coaching and just what his philosophy is with his team. But I'm proud of them. I know the fan base is proud of them. I just saw on Twitter, like, when they got home, the fans were just all there waiting for them to get off the bus. So it was just pretty cool to see that no matter what happens, our fans are always going to be there for us.
Absolutely. It's so devastating to watch, though, like especially on what they'll post on Instagram and like the press conferences and stuff, just how emotional it gets. People like sitting in press conferences, like tears running down their face because you've put so much into it up until this point, and then just the photos like this one, like it's just like it makes me emotional, and I don't even know them personally,
Yes, I know. I think because we're athletes too, and we know how
exactly.
it feels, so.
Yeah, it's so sad, but it's all in Connect. I mean, because this is a show about transfers,
yes.
I feel like we need to talk about, transfer of the year for Tennessee, unofficial. But he played so well this year. I mean, he like really did a lot for this team.
I'm sure he had like multiple games of 30, 35 and up points.
37 in this last game against Purdue that they lost, which is crazy. But
I guess transfers just always succeed when they come to Tennessee.
Transfers rock.
But yeah, I mean, I'm happy for them.
Yeah.
I'm glad I wish they made it farther, but
yeah.
I mean, 14 years making it past Sweet 16.
Yeah.
It's
a testament to where the team's
Yeah.
going. You know, they're clearly moving in the right direction. And,
Yeah.
and it's not just Dalton. I mean, like Zakai Ziegler and like, you know, all those other guys are playing really, really well too. So like they had a really, really solid team this year, you know.
Yeah.
It's really like I realized this a couple days ago as I'm thinking about it, like March Madness, there's only one team that's going to walk away happy, you know, like virtually everybody is going to be like upset, you know, and like that's, you know, like I think it's different from my sport because, you know, swimming and diving, like, you know, if you get top 10 at NCAAs or if you are, you know, the top couple at conference, like that's a good day. Like you obviously want to win, but like you're still, you know, doing significant things.
Yeah.
But like if you get to March Madness and, you know, you lose and you don't make it to being a national champion essentially, like it's a sad day, you know?
I think we're the only sport who has like, you can play 2 games. Or if you lose one, you're still in the tournament.
Right.
And for the College World
like
Series.
the double elimination.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Double elimination, there you go. That's what I was trying to figure out what it was. But I would hate if it was 1 game and done.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Just sad.
Yeah.
Sad for them. But
so there's a lot about swim and dive. You guys just finished NCAAs.
Yeah.
So you want to talk a little bit about how it went?
yeah, so the last 2 weeks, the women had NCAA.
Can I cut you right there?
Yeah.
So I know Jewel has to step out. Is there another slide after this?
Yes.
Okay. So when we restart, I'll start on cam 1.
Okay.
On you. And then what's the last slide after this?
It's the men's. It's a photo of the men from swimming NCAAs.
Okay. I can come out and change that.
Okay.
As y'all are talking.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jewel.
Thank you.
Thanks. That's pretty good. We got into a groove.
Yes. I only know Julia and Kate and Reagan.
Where's Kate? Oh, there's Kate. Up there of Brooklyn.
Wait, where are you?
I didn't go.
Oh.
Retired before that.
Where was it at?
Georgia.
Oh.
I guess you can't see. Gabrielson Auditorium. It's a good pool. That's one of my favorite pools, actually.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Are you ready?
So yes, we're ready. What was the last thing that she said on camera?
Talk about.
I think, she asked you to talk about it.
Okay.
So we'll just start with your answer
Okay.
on cam 1.
Okay.
All right.
Can I look at her and keep talking? Or do you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
I was like, can I look at it?
All right. Coming to you in 5, 4, 3, 2.
Yeah, so women's NCAAs was the week before last, and men's NCAAs was this past week. But the women had a really, really good meet. They finished top 4, and so finishing top 4 at NCAAs means that you get a trophy, which is like, you know, what everybody wants
Huge,
to
yeah.
do. Yeah, I mean, obviously being national champions is like the ultimate goal. That was Virginia. I mean, they've won 4 straight national titles. They're like insane.
Yeah.
But finishing top 4 for the women was like a really, really big feat because I think they've only done it once or twice in school history. But a bunch of highlights. Mona McSherry got second in the 100 and 200 breast. I know she was really, really wanting to win because she's finished second a couple years in a row, but they were really, really solid swims nonetheless. They're both school records. JoJo Fuller right here, she had a really, really fantastic meet. I mean, JoJo is just an incredible athlete. She's an incredible person. And I think she was top 5 in all of her events. I think she was third in the 200 IM, all school records. You know,
Dang.
she's incredible.
Swimming is hard.
It's really, really hard because, like, you know, we were talking about basketball a little bit earlier, you know, how when you get to that final stage, like you lose and you're done and it's like your season's over. I mean, swimming's a little bit hard in a different way of, like, you get into the pool and you have, like, literally a 50-50 shot of doing a best time. Like, and most of the time you're not, you know, like, going a best time is so difficult. But it was a really, really great meet for all the women. I mean, their highest finish in the relays was their 800 free relay that got second to Florida, which was, like, a really, really big deal. You know, just finishing that top, like, those relays are really, really important to points. They get double points, double of what the individual points are. So getting top 3, top 4 in the country, it's all super dependent on your relays. And I think all of the Lady Vol relays were top 5 or top 6, which is really, really solid. So they get to walk away with the cool little trophies that they're holding.
Gotta love the trophies.
Yeah. So the men's team, on the other hand, they had a really, really great meet as well. They finished 6th, which is, you know, a pretty good finish for them because they're not quite as high as the women. You know, really any top 10 finish at NCAAs is, like, you're golden. They had a really solid meet. Jordan Crooks, it's right there in the middle. He's, like, their top guy. You know, he got second in the 50. He got second to the guy from Florida that he actually beat last year. So him and Josh Leando go back and forth all the time. Like, I think he beat Josh at SECs, and then Josh beat him in the 50 by, like, 0.02 at NCAAs, but he got second, so that was a really, really solid swim for him. And then Guy Karib, he was in that final as well, and so then they were both also in the final of the 100 free, so I think they got second and 4th, but it's crazy because it was like, it was within, like, tenths, you know, like, I think Josh Leando, that guy from Florida, won the 100 free with, like, a 40.2, and then Guy went, like, a 40.5, 40.58 or something, and then there was another guy that went, like, a 40.62, and then Jordan went, like, a 40.68 or something like that. Like, it was so tight, but, you know, they were still able to secure some really, really big points for the Vols, which was fantastic, and a lot of their relays ended up doing really, really well as well. So I think every single one except for the 800 free relay, because that one didn't qualify, they were top 8 and everything. So I think their highest finish was 4th or 5th. But that's really, really solid. You know, the men are an up-and-coming program. Like, they're getting there. They're still working on building, and, like, you know, there's a bunch of newcomers on the team as well. Like, Nikolai is a freshman. He was on a bunch of those relays, and he swam really, really well. He's kind of a goofball, but he did good. And Aiden Creashy's new. I don't know if he made a final, but, you know, I think this was his first NCAAs. So, like, you know, these guys are really, you know, moving the program forward, which is really, really good to see.
And they'll learn from the older guys too, so.
Totally.
That'll help them out a lot.
Absolutely. So the other thing that we actually really wanted to talk about today, we kind of got into this conversation before we got on camera today, was how the SEC is going to be changing in the next year, and how Texas and Oklahoma are both joining the conference from the Big 12, and how it impacts the different sports differently. So talk to me a little bit about how, you know, both those softball teams joining the SEC will impact you guys.
So obviously I think that the SEC conference is just probably the most competitive out of all the conferences, but Oklahoma they have won 3 national championships in a row these past 3 years. So I think just adding more competition to our conference, and so is Texas. We actually played Texas last year in Super Regionals to make it to the World Series, and they're just a super good team. We played them in preseason this year, lost to them 1-0 or 2-1, I think. But they're just Oklahoma and Texas. They're just really good, and I just know that once they come into the conference, they're just gonna make this so much more competitive than it already is. And I'm excited to see it. It sucks that I'm not gonna be able to be playing still.
Right.
I mean, I'll still be around, but I just won't be on the field.
Yeah.
But I'm just super excited just for what's to come in the softball world.
Yeah, Absolutely. I know that like the conference shifts were all mostly for football. Like I know it's mostly around football, but it's interesting to see how it impacts different sports as well. Like swimming's a lot different because Oklahoma does not have a swim team, but Texas does, and Texas is one of the best like swimming programs in the country. The Texas men have won like a ton of national championships. I want to say it's like upwards of 20. Like they've had this coach Eddie Reese who's been there for like decades and decades, and like he's old. He's really old, but he's a great coach, and so like their team has been fantastic. And the Texas women have really been an up and coming program as well. I mean, they've been, I think, top four or five in the NCAA the last couple of years. I think they were the runner-ups last year. But the interesting thing about Texas as it relates to them shifting to the SEC is this concept of taper in the sport of swimming, because, you know, when we're training for swim, you know, like they're kind of beating us down in the water. You know, they're having us lift weights, they're having us do a lot of yardage, and so, you know, we're exhausted throughout the year. And so by the time we get to our conference meet in February or NCAAs in March, they've like slowly tapered down the yardage and the weights and all those things. And so Texas, on the other hand, because they're in the Big 12, that isn't really a huge, intense swimming conference, they have never had to taper for their conference meet in February. So they can essentially just show up to Big 12s, not rest at all, and then go to NCAAs a month later and then just kick everybody's butts, right? But as they shift to the SEC, they're going to have to rest twice if they want to be competitive with the other SEC teams like Florida, like Tennessee, like Alabama and A&M, and so that concept of resting twice is a lot harder on your body. So it's really, really difficult to swim really, really fast in February and then swim really, really fast a month later. Like the margin of time just isn't a ton. And so I think it'll be interesting to kind of see like how the dynamic of conference shifts once we get Texas into the SEC. So
that's interesting. I didn't even know Oklahoma didn't have a swim team.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So it's kind of a fascinating thing to talk about. I mean, I'm kind of excited that I'm like not gonna be there to be a part of it, because it's like, it's a little scary, it's a little chaotic, and like the SEC conference meet is already so competitive and so like difficult to make finals at and do really, really well at, because it's such an intense meet. It's like, it's one of my favorite meets like ever, and like I have so many great memories from it, but like I'm kind of glad that I'm exiting stage left before all this happens, you know? But I think it'll be interesting to watch going forward, you know, what happens.
Well, speaking of Oklahoma, since we're talking about them, they actually just had their new field built, like it's done.
Really?
Yeah, so I think it was like their opening weekend where they played their first home games. It was like sometime last month. But I saw that they had like 40, I think it was like, no, not 40, 17,000 people.
No
like
way.
Their highest like in their stadium. That's how big it is. So
oh my gosh.
I'm excited to go because Tennessee
when are you
softball.
guys going?
We play them, well, they play them next year.
Oh, okay.
At their field.
Okay.
And I just can't wait to see it, because obviously when I played there, I played on the old field.
Yeah.
And so I just want to see what it looks like now, because fitting 17,000 people is like is insane.
Yeah.
But that just goes to show how women's sports is just building.
Yeah.
And it's growing every day, and even in basketball, like all women's sports. So I'm just happy that people are gonna starting to take that more seriously.
Yeah, and I guess that's a plus of Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC, because that means there's going to be even more money poured into the SEC, and when there's more money in the SEC, there's more money to go around to women's sports and the other, you know, less money making sports as well. Yeah. So I love to see that for women, for sure.
I know, it's so exciting.
But well, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you guys back here next week. Go Vols.
Go Vols.